Camera's rolling.
Baby, I'm too young to know any better, but I guess I'm just too old to care. I'm waiting on the morning light to clear the air. Now the sky is wrong with regret, letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the mess you created. The one that you hated. Now the sky is wrong with regret, letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the mess you.
Good morning, everybody. It's the weekend. How are you doing? Nice to see all of you in the comments. I hope you're having a start of a good weekend. Really quick before we get into the show, right down there at the bottom, Cash App, Venmo, Patreon, Dad Talk Today, no spaces. Several ways that you can support this show, including super stickers, super chats, and memberships over there on YouTube. And we got the same thing over on Facebook, and I've seen some people sign up. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm glad to have you here today, guys. If you see somebody new, welcome them to the show. I've been seeing the camaraderie that's been going on, and I love it. We are live today, so if you've got some questions, concerns, comments on today's topic, please let us know. Also, guys, get your Dad Talk Today gear. It even comes with a metal straw. I don't have that for my coffee. These are really cool. We've been having some people order, and make sure that you are writing us on the Facebook Dad Talk Today page. If you would like to get one and you would like to support Mandalorian, what is going on? Mr. Caleb Leverett. Guys, if you don't know Caleb will actually be in studio tomorrow. I'm looking forward to this show. I got to talk to Caleb probably about a year ago. Very briefly, he was talking about wanting to get involved more in the advocacy work, but then I go and check up on his channel. Man, he had a video. If you guys haven't seen it, I would suggest you go watch that before tomorrow, about his son Parker. When he went to take his son home, his son told him, I don't want to go home. I want to stay with Dad. Police got called, everything. Mom's sitting there doing everything she can to get that kid to come in and trying all the guilt trips and the whole 9 yards. I think that video is sitting at around 40 million plus views, guys. That was a story that definitely got out there. And I believe it's because there's a lot of guys that can relate to that. One of the most heartbreaking things that you will ever go through is when you go to take your child home and they say, look, I don't want to go. And many times it's for reasons. I mean, this is the kid saying, I do not want to go. But they're in the state of Texas, they was going to make it happen. Custodial interference in Texas, man. That is one of the craziest things, guys. Caleb, I'm looking forward to it. And we'll be live at 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll have him live in the studio. Make sure to go check out that video. Maybe I could get a reel or something up today to give you guys a little glimpse of it. Joshua Bone, Timothy, Michael, Lauren, Ronald. Hey, man, what's going on, guys? Can you welcome all these guys? I'm going to give another little hand clap. All right, guys, we're going to get into today's subject. I'm a little late on this, but it was something when I saw it, I was like, doggone it. I want to talk about this. I've already got shows scheduled up. And a lot of times when these things happen, people try to rush out to talk about it, to ride the headlines and stuff. But let me go ahead and get it set up as well. Dana White, if you guys didn't see the video, I think it came out about a month ago. If I'm not wrong, I'm not going to be able to share the audio because I will get hit. But let me pull that down really quick. We're going to watch this video. For those of you that don't know, Dana White is the president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC. We've had a lot of those fighters on the show. And dude, you know how veterans get their service used against them when they go into the family courts? Oh, they got PTSD, they're this and they're that. Same thing happens with some of these UFC fighters, man, and it's crazy. But in this particular incident, Dana White for New Year's was at a club with his wife. They've been married for years. And if you watch closely, it looks like she's getting a little heated, and out of the middle of nowhere, she pops him in the face. And what does he do? As soon as he does it, or she does it, he pops her right back. And there was the headlines the next day. It's all you saw everywhere. Dana White hits wife. We got to make him step down from the UFC. We got to make him do this. We got to make him do that. And I'm like, why are we only hearing about Dana hitting his wife? Because what I saw, she hit first. Right? I don't think it's good for you to hit anybody. The guys, a lot of times, if you get hit or something happens, are you going to want to retaliate? I know what that's like. Somebody smacking you in the face and you having to, man, don't put your hands on anybody, guys. That's my thoughts behind it. But I want you guys to watch this video with me and give me your comments and tell me what you think really quick. One thing I forgot. If you're watching this right now, I want you to like it, pull out the phone. If you're on the computer, wherever you are, make sure you're liking this. I want you to share it and hit the subscribe button and ding that bell so you're getting notifications for when we go live. A lot of people saying they're not getting the notifications for when we're going live. And that's crazy, guys. The YouTube alone has had over 1,000+ subscribers in the past couple weeks, and it is steadily growing. Why are people not getting the notifications? That kind of pisses me off. But do that for me. Please like, share, subscribe, and get down there in the comments. I'm going to be reading your comments here in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up this video. Let me full screen it. Actually, let me pull myself down in the corner. There we go. There we go. I'm going to full screen it, and we're going to watch this together and see what we think. Let me take that off of there. Here we go. All right. He's already holding her hands. It's like he knows something's coming. All right. Boom. Did y'all see that? Or is it just me? Hold up. Let's go back. Boom. Right in the face. One more time. Pop. Pretty hard slap, man. What's he do? Pop. Smacks her right back. And got her again. Don't you lay your hands on me. And now they go pushing and shoving. All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. And I was watching that off of, make sure that we give credit to it. There's MMA clips there on YouTube. That was the source. Yeah, guys. So I'm curious. What is your thoughts on that? Was he in the right? I don't think anybody should lay their hands on anybody. But the fact that the next day, all we hear is that Dana White was hitting his wife. It seems like there's a narrative to protect. You saw no calls for her to get in any type of trouble. And you know what? I do believe things are starting to get maybe a little bit better, guys. Just a little bit. Because I did see a little bit of pushback. Now, had this been 5 or 10 years ago, we wouldn't have heard the conversation about her hitting him first at all. And you probably would have just got the clip of him doing it, right? At least now, you're seeing a mixture of people saying, hey, she hit him first. You don't lay your hands on anybody. But if you want to know how strong that narrative is when it comes to domestic violence, go look on the comments on any of these videos where it's all one-sided against Dana. Oh, he's a strong guy. He shouldn't have touched her. He should have just walked away. He should have just done this. They don't mention anything about her. Where is the double standard coming from, guys? Nobody should be hitting anybody. If you ask me, nobody. Joshua Bain said, not enough detail to make the judgment. What I won't do is assume that he was wrong. That is unfair too. I mean, well, you know what, dude? It's what sucks. You got social media now and people want to judge. And it was what we've taught the world to do, right? Is judge without having all of the details. That is part of the problem. I think that's one of the biggest challenges that men are facing, especially in this arena, is that somebody comes out here and says, hey, this is what my ex did to me, this, and this. You got Mighty Mouse that shows up or whatever, and nobody listens to the other side of the story or even ask questions. They just make judgments on what they see. We only saw a little bit of that video. At the same time, I did see Dana get hit. whatever the details may be. Nobody deserves to get hit. If it gets to that point, you don't want to be with them anymore, or it's getting to the point of abuse, you two don't need to be together anymore. The last thing I want to see is a marriage breakup. I want to see more healthy couples, happy marriages, happy relationships, and stuff like that out there. But abuse is wrong for everybody. Does anybody disagree with me on that? And I know I've said that in many different ways as I've been saying this, but it just is. Sabrina said, it was Caleb's story that was what lit the fire under my butt to focus on parental alienation and father's rights. That is awesome, Sabrina. I'm telling you guys, watch that video, and it's definitely going to get under your skin. Dwayne said, you can tell that's not out of character for their 30-year marriage. Plus, she's Italian, cultural difference, real talk. That is some type of foreplay for couples. It's crazy is what Dwayne's saying right now. There could be some truth to that. It could have been something that has happened many times. I think, we talk about the adverse childhood experiences. Maybe they experienced some of this in their childhood. But one thing that we see is people getting these high conflict marriages and relationships. And there's something about it that feels comfortable to them. It feels normal. Could you imagine that type of relationship feeling normal? It's not normal, guys. You shouldn't want to hit each other. You just shouldn't. That's the person that you marry. That's the person that you have kids with. It's the person you want to live with. And like I said, it's wrong on both sides. Father X said, why was somebody recording? Because Dana White, he's a celebrity. It's on TMZ. And that's, unfortunately, a lot of people will say, look, man, this belongs behind closed doors. Nobody should be giving their comments on it. I agree. But for the people that think they want to be famous, is this what you want when you go somewhere? The world kills me, dude, especially the ones wanting to be TikTok famous or all this other stuff. I want people to know me. No, you don't. Get on YouTube. Look up Justin Bieber and what he goes through every time he just tries to go home. Could you imagine being that kid? Just trying to go live a normal life, come home. You got people camping outside your house. You constantly got cameras on you. They want to take little excerpts because they can get views off of your life. Anybody that wants that is mentally insane, if you ask me. They are. But he was Dana White. He was in a club. His wife was there, and somebody probably sold that footage. Hey, I got it on my cell phone. I can make some money off of that. There's people that's what they do full time, guys. They follow these different celebrities around, just waiting for one of these situations to happen. And then, hey, I got something to sell you. I got this footage. It's crazy. So what happened with John F. Kennedy too? That guy didn't do it on purpose. He was just filming the president. Have you guys seen that movie? I forget the name of it. Oh, we watched that not long ago. That footage actually came from an innocent bystander that was just there to see the president as he was coming down. He had one of those like roll cameras, and he had the whole video of when JFK's head exploded. It was crazy. And he had every news agency in the country trying to buy that from him. Like, who's going to be the highest bidder? That is crazy, man. You check that movie out. And there's a reason why they wanted to kill JFK. I'm not going to get in that right now. Mandalorian said, no one should put their hands on anyone, but she slapped him, and I don't think he expected it. And in public, I'm sure she has done it before. I mean, I think that's plausible. It definitely is. Probably is. And you know what's going to be that reaction, guys? I don't know if you watch that again. I'm telling you, that was a hard pop. And his was more of, he didn't reach back and pow. It was pow. But Dana's a pretty built guy. So I'm sure it hurt. I'm still sure it hurt. But still, man, the conversation, she hit him. He hit her. There is a couple right now that is experiencing this. And that's crazy, man. Now, if they want to work through that in their relationship, that should be for them. Telling this guy that he needs to step down from his position and everything because he retaliated. You know what pisses me off so bad, because I see this so common. The ones that show up, man, you don't lay your hands on a woman. You ain't supposed to do that. I don't care if she hit you. I don't care if you done that. You just need to hold yourself and stuff. Then they go through it. And then, hey, I'm being hit. I'm getting abused. I'm going through this. Like, dude, I don't want to hear what you got to say. Just don't. So many of these blue-pilled men that go through that, and then they find themselves going through it, and all of a sudden the story starts to change, right? Yeah. Julie said, obviously didn't hit her that hard because she came back at him right away. Yeah, it was tussling. Oh, Benjamin Boshaw said the same thing. He said she came back for more, so clearly he wasn't putting any effort into that slap. I'm sure as big as Dana is, that he could have done some damage had he wanted to. I guess that's just a segue to getting into this. Why are men not being represented in the media and in society? Why is there not domestic violence shelters for men? Why have we put the stigma on them that they just have to take it? You wonder why male suicide is the way it is, guys. Look at this. If you are a man and you're going through a problem, where can you go to talk about it? Where can you go for help? If you go to the courts, what's going to happen? If you call the police, what's going to happen? These are conversations that need to get normalized. And that's what I'm trying to do right now on the show. Men will sit back and think I can just handle it. I don't have to talk about it and it'll get better. It doesn't get better. A lot of times this process repeats itself. You find yourself going through it again. And I am of the very firm opinion that if this starts going on in your relationship, that's probably not a relationship. Yeah. Mike Preserve said, my son's Lutheran elementary school principal blocked me from picking up my youngest son on my day because he did not want to go. Found out much later, baby mom had arranged a friend's party he was promised to go to. I left because of obvious possible escalation in front of her posse. I would have taken him to the party. Let me say something, guys. If you're in one of these situations and you feel it start to escalate, whether it's with the baby's mom, your current wife, or anybody, there's nothing wrong with you walking away. Now, I don't care if you have to do it backwards because you need to keep your eyes on them, but get out of there. One of the situations that pops in my head when talking about this is Chad Reed. Watching that situation. And, dude, I saw so many people that was just, on the side, like, he should have left. He should have done this. And I agree. He should have left. But here is a guy that's being blocked from his kids, that has been put through this mental crap. And even then, seeing Mighty Mouse come out on the porch with a shotgun, you better get away from here. You know what I mean? I'm just here to get my kid, dude. There's going to be these situations, guys, when they start to escalate, because it is easy to say this right now. It is very easy for me to say this on the screen. But once you're having your family taken away from you, or you're getting hit, you're being abused or something, that's when the adrenaline starts flowing and this becomes a much different situation. You want to respond. You don't want this happening anymore. You might start yelling. Your whole demeanor changes. And it's telling you, revenge. No, man. Document it, get away. Please, get away. Now, in these situations, when they do happen, do I think it's wrong if somebody retaliates if they are being physically abused? No, I don't. That's what self-defense is supposed to be, right? Why are we worried about gender? You see how many men have gotten killed because of these issues? Why are we making this a gender conversation when we talk about domestic violence? It shouldn't be. It just shouldn't. Father X said, but I think the way I look at it is I have no idea what happened. Don't know the backstory. Don't know what they were saying. Don't know who is usually hitting the other one 365 days a year. Dude, I don't care at that point in time. If it's coming to violence, you're at a place you don't need to be. If he was doing it, she should have left. Say he was doing it, the rest of the year, most of the time, then she should have left. If he's been going through this before, then he should. I'd say on either side, this is just wrong, man. That's it. You're not supposed to be doing this in relationships where you love each other. Sabrina said, yes, she came back for more. If you're going to act a fool, then you need to be treated like a fool. Man, that's coming from a woman. Now, why would you say that, Sabrina? You see how much bigger he is than her. Why would you say that if she came back for more, she deserved it? Joshua Bain, awesome, man. Verteris Cerebral said, woman hits a man. Boy, what did the man do to her? Mm. Dude, sometimes you don't have to do anything. And I think because of this double standard and this stigma, it's just one of those, if I do this, I'm going to get away with it, because many times, most of the time, I would say they do get away with it. And in these states where this VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act is, and they got the mandatory arrests, a woman hits a man, usually, if the cops get called, he's going to jail. You know, if anything, Dana better be glad that somebody was videoing, because he had proof that he was hit first. Could you imagine if they wouldn't have had the video and all you heard everybody was saying, man, he hit a woman, but she hit me? Nobody would have been listening to Dana. And how can I clarify that and back it up? Again, look at Johnny Depp, dude. Had Johnny not had the recordings of Amber saying, I didn't punch you, I hit you, or I didn't hit you, I punched you, or whatever, would he have ever won that case? What is it that Cornell says? Your Johnny Depp, Amber Heard recording device right here. You need to have it going when you go to these places. Guys, if you're in a state where you are allowed to do that, you need to check the laws. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an expert. We're not giving legal advice on here. But if you're in a situation where you can record it and there's high conflict, I'm going to tell you, you probably need to do it. What's it say, though? That we have a world that has gotten to this point to where you feel like you have to record these type of conversations or outings with a wife or an ex-spouse, somebody you had a child with. I feel like I have to be recording, because if I don't record, I think there's going to be some type of allegation made, or there might be something that escalates. And if I say something, nobody's going to believe me. I need to have video evidence of what's going on. Amanda said, I believe he is being set up for something bigger. Maybe she wants to end the marriage and take a chunk of his money, so being a battered wife will do it. Whew. Amanda, bringing the thunder. I mean, it could be very plausible, man. A lot of times in these relationships, if I want to get out of it and I want to get this, then I just paint him out to be this person. And once it goes to the courts, this is what's going to happen. Happens all the time. Dwayne, hurt people. Many don't learn positive ways to practice healthy relationships. Growing up in New York City, it's a commonplace. SMH. So, dude, New York City. What is up with that city? Hey, New York was neat and everything. Being from the South, going up there when we did a couple of years ago, it was culture shock for me. But let me tell you about the first thing I experienced when I got to New York. I hadn't ate breakfast. We couldn't even hardly get anything to eat when we was on the road, because this was during the whole COVID debacle. A lot of the restaurants and stuff weren't opening. But we started off the day up at the Capitol. I want to say it's Albany. And then we went down to New York City a little bit later on. But my first experience in New York was going to get me a breakfast sandwich. Going to get me a bagel. Well, there was a customer in there. I guess he had been there for a while. He was like, where's my effing bagel? And then the owner comes out. He was like, you want your bagel? You'll get your bagel when I give you your bagel. And they started going back and forth, and they got in a fight. Police had to break it up over a bagel. So I believe that, Dwayne. I don't know if that's an everyday occurrence up there that you're seeing, but for a guy from Georgia, I was sitting back eating my virtual popcorn. You know what I mean? Just like, what is going on here? This is crazy. Welcome to New York. Dwayne said, when I saw the video, he showed incredible restraint when he slapped her back. I say so. I agree with that. That's why I tried to watch it back several times. I mean, if you watch the difference in the slap from her reaching back and pow, I actually saw his flubber like they would do in the 80s movies, right? Like when Rocky would get it did that. If in slow motion, I could have saw it jiggle. Anyway. And then when he did it, there was no reaching back. It was just a pop. But he did it twice. Like, hey, watch yourself. I don't know, man. Dwayne said Dana hits like a freight train. I think he could. You're talking about the guy from the UFC, for God's sakes. Dana, I think it's time for you to fight Jake Paul. I really do. Lauren Jackson said, I don't think it's okay to hit anyone unless you have a legitimate worry for your safety or self-defense. I can understand a response like that, but the double standard is alive and well. I'm with you, dude. I mean, if somebody's going to do something like that to you, get out of there and just say, okay, it's gotten to this point. Guys, look, what would it have said if he would have had that video and she would have slapped him and he would have just said, you know what? I'm out of here. Let's take it to the attorneys. A lot of times, is there anything that's going to happen? No. But if you had to have video evidence, like, look, I restrained myself. I did this. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it pissed me off. And I wanted to retaliate, but I didn't. And I think that's what many of us do. But in showing that restraint as a man, what positives is there of it, Lauren? Let me ask you that. Said, I don't think it's okay to hit anyone unless you have a legitimate worry for your safety or self-defense. Now, are they doing it out of worry for their safety or self-defense? If a woman's hitting a man, I don't think so. That's showing like, I don't fear you. I don't think you're too strong than me. I don't think any of this. I don't fear the consequences or anything. I'm going to hit you because I think I can get away with it. And I'm going to make sure it hurts, you know? And in that process, like if he goes to the courts or if he goes to the cops and nobody does nothing about it, are these guys wrong for going in self-defense and letting them know, don't touch me again? Because one of the sad things is a lot of times people will try to put these type of relationships back together, or they'll try to get over these humps. But once you let somebody get away with something like that and they think that it's okay and I can get a pass, guess what happens? We see it happen more and more. So I don't know, man. I don't know that I've got the I don't know that I got the magic answer for that, but I'm just glad at least can we celebrate the fact, guys, that people are having both sides of the discussion finally. Never lay your hands on a woman. Don't lay your hands on a man. Don't you touch him either. And if you lay your hands on him and he retaliates, I'm going to tell you, man, if the courts would actually clean this up and say, hey, there's going to be consequences for this, make a Violence Against Men's Act. There should just be a Violence Act altogether. But the fact that we have a Violence Against Women's Act and it's one-sided in a world where we can show that the statistics are saying, I think the Harvard study was 70% of the time, the woman initiates that, guys. She initiates that. And then we're seeing that it happened to almost 700,000 more men within a year. Could you imagine how many more men it actually happened to that did not report? It's time to have that conversation. And that's what I'm doing. Caleb, he said, John Wade paddled Maureen O'Hare over his lap in McClintock. That's funny, dude. Can you imagine just how different this generation is now? I was watching, I forget which movie it was, but I posted it on Dad Talk over there on Instagram, and I saw this clip of John Wayne, and there was this kid there, and he was telling him to go swim, and he's like, gosh, Emperado, I can't swim. John Wayne looks down, he's like, you can't swim? He's like, no. He's like, Mom won't let me. John Wayne picks up that kid and says, boop, throws him. He's like, help, I can't do nothing. He's like, hey, just pull your arms. That's how I learned. Kid swims to the other side. He's like, hey, I did it. Mom gets over there and she's all mad. And then he looks at her. He's like, all right, about to show you how to swim. Right. But could you imagine somebody making a clip like that now? There's just no way. There's no way. But it shows the difference in parenting. And I do believe, again, both sides are needed. There was one that was wanting their kid to be safe and to make sure they know not to overstep boundaries. But at the same time, it was a dad saying, you're, swaddling him. You're not letting him learn. He can do this. Let him go. It's crazy. My daughter wanted to watch a funny movie last night. I don't know if you guys saw the meme I made. Every once in a while, when I'm spending some time with the kids or we're watching a movie or something, I get the idea and I'm like, I'm making a meme. But she wanted to watch an Adam Sandler movie. And so we looked at Happy Gilmore. We looked at Billy Madison. And then she saw the trailer to The Waterboy. She's like, I want to watch that. But I forgot, here's Bobby Boucher. Had to sing with Mom. And every time he went to do something, it was the devil. Vicky Valancourt was the devil. School was the devil. Football was the devil. And Bobby believed that. He thought that everything was the devil. And then he goes to school and starts repeating some of the nonsense that he was gave. Then he ends up looking like an idiot, but look at how good he ended up being at football. I know that's not a true story, but I can guarantee you can relate that to real life. There's always lessons that you can get. Ricardo Rampone said, yesterday, my sister-in-law, wife of my brother, contacted my ex to see my sons. She stated that they have to go to their house to play with her children, and her husband has to be there. That's crazy, dude. I mean, you hear the stories like, if you want to see your kid, you got to come sit up under me, or this person's got to be there. They've got to create this image of, I need this person here because you are so bad, right? Just all in images and portrayal. Dwayne said, blame it on the alcohol. Jamie Foxx hit song, I'm serious. I bet their octagon, aka bedroom, is rambunctious. People have their kinks. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I love that, Shadrach. Equal rights, equal lefts. Yeah. Canada has shelters for abused men, never in America. It's a business to have homeless men because they have transitioned into the prison system. 13th Amendment details free labor. Dude, I can count on one hand how many domestic violence shelters for men that we have in this country. You know how many there's there for women? Thousands. And what's so sad, like, not just with the domestic violence shelters, but, that's what I was doing up north, guys, when we went to out in the Northwest, when I went out to Idaho. Went from Idaho to Montana, did the whole state of Washington, whole state of Montana, whole state of Oregon, back to the top of Idaho, and went down and did the whole state of Idaho. It was 2,700 miles in 5 days. But we went to all these supervised visitation centers. And what it was an exploratory mission. I was there having conversations about the custody exchange murders that we're seeing. Hey, there is a need. Unfortunately, there is a need for these guys to have a place that they can pick up and drop off their kids without having to worry about being murdered when they go to get their kids. How do you feel about that? And is there some resources that we can make? There was a lot of things that we learned while we was there. I wasn't shocked, but it was a different story to be able to prove it to everybody. And what I said ended up coming true. Any of them that got the government funding, that got the VAWA funding, Violence Against Women's Act, did not talk to us. Wouldn't even let us in the door. Think about that. Or dad talk. We're on here talking about healthy families, equality, cleaning this up so that the system gets better. Not just making resources so that you can treat the symptoms. We want to cure the disease. Can we talk to you about that? Can we talk to you about the cure? Even if we don't agree, can we have a conversation? Wouldn't even let us in the door. However, every one of them got the independent funding. They raised the money on their own, sat down and had lengthy conversations with us. Crazy. But think about that. Why wouldn't you want to talk to somebody? Can you not introduce me to the director of your program? Look at where the funding is coming in from this, guys. The domestic violence industry is connected to the family courts, but it's just as big, if not bigger. That domestic violence industry is just crooked. It is a strong narrative. There's a reason why you're never going to see a man on a billboard. And this is what they do. Go back and watch the show that I had, man. I had the Navy vet on. Wife was abusing him and his kid, and he went to 5 different shelters, and they all turned him away. We don't take men here because you might intimidate some of the women that have been through this, right? Why have we become so one-sided on that? And think about that. It wasn't just him that was getting abused. It was his kid. He said, look, she's hitting both of us, making us sleep on the floor. Everything was controlled. And here I am in the military. I can't even go to the military. I can't even go to a domestic violence shelter and say, this is what's going on to me. How heartless can you be? If you're not supposed to accept men in that shelter, could you not have got him a hotel? Could you not have hit him? Could you done something? You could have helped him, but they turned him away. Then again, the image of the big, strong man, he doesn't need help. He doesn't need help. He can't get hurt. Anything a man can do, I can do better until it comes to domestic violence. Oh, we can't hurt them. It's crazy when you get on the topic of like gun control, how guns are so evil and everything. And it's this violence. And the same people that will push that gun control narrative when it comes to men being abused won't even talk about it. If politics can get any more screwed up, man, oh my God. Paul said, I bet money if he turns and walks away, he's going to take a hit to the back of his head. Lots of unknowns. This is a great examples of how these type of situations happen to everybody. That's true. I mean, it's definitely true. You can tell these men to walk away all you want, but let me give you an example of that. What happens when men try to walk away from the conflict? How many of you guys have been on Dad Talk, on one of the memes or something that the girls are posting on here to give you content in between? How many of you have been in here talking about your situations or in any of the groups, and you find a woman that's talking about her baby daddy, all right, and how you guys are lying and how this isn't true because of the situation with her baby daddy, or how fathers are deadbeats or any of that, and they find their ways into these groups. Here is men trying to create a resource where they can talk to other men that relate to what they're going through. And they're finding you here. People, a lot of times you don't even know, trying to engage you in the comments. You can't always walk away from conflict. People who love conflict and who love arguments will find you anywhere you go. They're going to find some way to engage in that. It's like they thrive on it. And if I don't have it, it's just like not eating breakfast, lunch, or supper. I've got to have that argument because that's what feels comfortable to me. And if that's not going on, something's wrong. Sometimes they can't get away from it anywhere. Yeah, if you turn and walk away, sometimes it could get worse. So I'm not just going to say that the conversation of not retaliating shouldn't be in there. I mean, you can't let people step all over you guys. Deborah Bedoya, what's going on? Uh-oh, somebody trying to call me. Let me get to some more of these comments, man. Guys, I'm so glad you're in here. We got a lot of them. Trying to see if I can get to some of the new faces that I haven't heard from. Ronald said, my ex-wife was always in my face whenever we argued. She was looking for me to hit her, but I did not fall for her trap. Dude, you talk about gaslighting, right? How there's somebody that's itching for a response, or they're just wanting you to argue, and they'll do these things just so they can get you upset. They can get you in your emotions. And once they do that, take a picture and say, see, that's who he is. You think I haven't had that? I've had my picture taken on Dad Talk when I was like this, like right in the middle. I don't care whoever you find on the internet. If you find them talking, you can find them making funny faces in between their talking if you pause. But it was one of those that got snapped to me when I was like really into it. You guys know how I get heated sometimes. See, look at the evil man that this guy is. And I'm just sitting there looking at it like, are you kidding me? But that's projection. That's what they got to do. They got to make you think that this is what's going on. And for that type of person, they will poke. They will poke at the bear until they can't no more, until they get a response. And so what would I say to you guys if you're going through that type of situation? I'd say get the hell out of it, because the last thing that you want to do is respond. I understand why some people do, but you don't want to, because you can have every argument out there and it can be a sane one. But a lot of times what we see is, Lisa, Dusty, Blackie said self-defense is not the same as don't touch me again. Nope. Absolutely. Todd, Violence Against Humans Act. That's the way I would like to put it. Violence Against Humans Act. That's not too far of a stretch to make something like that, is it? Professor Mex in the rock era. He said, how many men have been jailed for false accusations? Everything from assault, offensive words, to grapes. And now found not guilty. Life gets ruined. Family and friends rejected them. No winning. Yeah, I get you, man. A lot of times, this is where it plays into the false allegations. And this is where I say the domestic violence industry, many of who I've reached out to, organizations, I'd love to talk to you because we're on the same side. You do realize the ones that make false allegations of domestic violence and that do crap like what we just saw in that video are the one that is taking voices away from the real victims. False allegations is so out of hand that when victims come and speak up, people don't listen to them like they used to. And that could be bad for a real victim. It may be getting a little bit better for the ones that are going through the false allegations, but think if there is somebody that's actually going through this. And dude, the Johnny Depp case helped us in many ways because it showed people just how bad these false allegations can get, showed them that how bad these cases can get, and just the absurdity of it all. At the same time, there might be a woman that was really going through that, or there might be a man that was really going through that. And now it just doesn't have as much credibility because it's like, this is a circus. That's all it is a circus. An allegation should remain an allegation unless you have proof. I'd say it that way. You need to be, well, sometimes you can't prove it. Yeah, because sometimes it's bullshit. Let's be honest with you, because sometimes it's bullshit. And they'll do everything they can to get you to react again if I ain't got the evidence, right? Guys, be vigilant. Be vigilant in this. Deborah, it's a blatant discrimination matter, and though I detest class action lawsuits because the lawyers get it all, granted, hope is alive thanks to Depp, but remaining complacent, we won't see equality, especially in DV. Maybe I'm dreaming, but we have a huge voice on a united front. The problem is getting the message out there. You're limited with social media. You are. But the more that you keep having the same conversations, a lot of what I'm saying on this podcast right now, I've said numerous times, and I know you guys have heard it on several other shows. I need you in here because we need to keep repeating it. And as new people come in here, they need to hear it as well, because the conversation is not where it needs to be yet. It needs to be more normal. It needs to be out there. It needs to be just knowledge, because that's what the narrative is. The narrative is complacency and something that's just been expected, that it's existed for so long. This is what people think it's supposed to be. You don't lay your hands on a woman. You don't lay your hands on a man. Where did all this bullcrap come from, man? And it makes it feel, people talk about, when we get in here and talk about the challenges that men are facing, that it's promoting victim mentality. No, this is speaking out against that damn victim mentality. It's the victim mentality, along with the false allegations in the courts and all this other general bias that's going on, that has created this. This is people saying, get rid of the victim mentality and bring in evidence and get equality in here so that we can get some of that victim mentality and that bull crap out of here, dude. I mean, when the majority of these cases are going unfounded, guys, we've got a problem. We've got a very big problem. I got you. Man, the abuse is abuse in my eyes. It is, man. But what is abuse? Can anybody answer that to me? What is abuse? That is such an open-ended thing. If I can't prove a sexual or a physical allegation, then, oh, it's mental abuse, it was torture. You just don't know what I went through in my marriage. I tried to stay in there. It was hard. And they throw on those tears, man. And it's so easy for these guys to end up in jail or given everything they've got to prove that this is crazy. It is, man. And the mighty mouses out there that fall for it. How many of you guys have got with a woman and then they'll always tell you, my ex was abusive. He was mentally abusive. He was physically abusive. He was this, he was that. Oh my God, it was torture and it took me so long to get out of it. And then you know what happens most of the time? I will save you. I will save you. I am sorry you went through that, but I'm not like that. Let me introduce you to the perfect man. I won't hit you. I won't mentally abuse you. And I'm sorry your ex did. I will protect you against him. Fast forward a year or so later, and then you become that guy. Snap out of it, guys. Snap out of it. I'm telling you, they think that I'm just throwing off on women here. That is not what I'm doing by no means. I'm trying to speak to the guys, and I'm not trying to slap you. That's not what I'm doing. We're talking, no, abuse is wrong. But I am saying snap out of it. Snap out of it. Smell the coffee, bro. Start asking questions. Somewhere along the way, men, we have let ourselves down, and these conversations need to be normalized. It's just like this morning, I want to bring, and I'm going to do a full episode on this, but I think that goes into the same thing because it's all about fighting the narratives and the stereotypes. And now don't you even start that. Don't you even start that, Rob. I did not raise my hand at you. I did not. Mexican. Exactly. Exactly. I used to hate that word because I was like, man, I hate labels and stuff, but I understand it now. The simp. These are, dude, we have so many weak men. I'm not saying, like, dude, some of the weakest ones will be the ones with the biggest muscles. They are the biggest pushovers and are blue pill. And it's like, dude, you can go out there and you can work out and you can do all that, but you can't even take up for yourself, man. You can't even take up for yourself. I mean, you got testicles the size of grapes, man. Come on. We need grapefruits, not grapes. Need to grow some. You honestly think that's what you're here on this earth? This is your existence. Happy wife, happy life. If they hit me, I'm just supposed to sit back. I'm supposed to do this. Guys, get these conversations out there. But one of the ones that I was talking about this morning, like, I'm very bad about wanting to take care of myself. When I say take care of myself, take off time, go to the doctor, anything like that. And then as I get more into this, guys, and I start doing the research, and I'm like, do you know how many men are dying because they don't go get checkups? We have way shorter life expectancies because we are not being proactive and preventative. We just want to think it's going to be okay. I'll get to it tomorrow or whatever. We're not promised tomorrow, guys. We're not. Can I be real with you? One of the things that's really been getting in my head lately, especially now that I'm getting near 40, you can laugh. People still call me a youngin'. I don't feel like it. But, body doesn't act like it once did. And I'm starting to see the gray hairs and stuff that are popping up. And I'm realizing my mortality, right? My dad died at 63. Does that mean I only got 24 years left on this earth? Those are real thoughts that we have. Some of them aren't making it to 63. But men will not take care of themselves because they think they just got to get through the day. It's the same thing with this domestic violence stuff. Oh, she hit me today, but you know what? It pissed me off. Maybe I wanted to retaliate, but baby, I love you. Let's stay here and we're going to try to get past it. And then it happens again. Then it happens again. Then it happens again. And nothing is ever seen of it until you retaliate. Man, we got to stop putting things off. We got to stop putting these conversations off. Go and get yourself checked, man. You know, I have had one of the men's rights guys. I'll tell you, it is Carnell Smith. He's been getting on to me for like the last month. Eric, go get your blood drawn. Go get the prostate exam. Go get all that. And I'm like, dude, you better shut your mouth. Don't you start talking about that. No. This morning, though, I went and got, I don't know if you can see, it's purple. Went and got my blood drawn. I'm looking into my testosterone. That's another thing, guys, that we need to normalize. Anything after the age of 25, we start losing that testosterone. We start becoming more prone to these things because we're getting near every day that we live, we're dying, right? We need to stop thinking it's going to get better tomorrow. Remember that thing I'm always talking about, how men just want peace? And so a lot of times we will withdraw or we will disengage because we think that's going to make us peace. And then what happens? Situation gets worse. because we're not facing it. We're not trying to make it better. We just stay on in there, hope that it gets better tomorrow. Dude, sometimes it doesn't get better tomorrow, guys. Sometimes it gets worse, or you might even lose your voice altogether. Look at these guys that have been on this show that thought it was going to get better tomorrow, and they didn't even make it to tomorrow. They're no longer here with us. That's why I feel this sense of urgency, not wanting to take a break or anything, because I know while we're talking right now, guys, this could be one of the last days on earth for these men when they show up to go get their kids. It's Friday. Let that sink in. It's Friday. It's the weekend. If it's that every other weekend deal, there could be many men that are going to show up to one of these custody exchanges where it gets violent, and it could be their last time here on earth. Why aren't more people talking about that before the moment gets here? Why? Rosemary. Let's read it. Said, I was beaten for years. I stood by my kids for 30 years. I never let my kids suffer. Now I'm 58, left damaged. He broke my inner spirit. My heart's damaged, my kidneys. Plus, I got a tumor on my brain. If I follow in mom's footsteps, I'll be dead in 3 years. I feel my end coming. Guys, nobody needs to live in that. And staying in that situation doesn't help your kids. It doesn't help anybody. It especially doesn't help you. Abuse is wrong. You know what? I can be criticized for the rest of my life because I had to leave my ex when she was pregnant after she hit me. I don't care. Call me anything that you want, because I can tell you that day that I was clenching my teeth and my fists, and it felt like my veins were just about to pop because I was trying to contain myself because I had just gotten hit. I've got to get out of this. I didn't respond. Gaslighting got worse, man. It got to a point where I had to withdraw. Now, there was a lot of things I did wrong back then, but I will look back, and if my past self could hear me now, I'd say, I'm proud of you, dude. You made a lot of mistakes back then, but when you walked out that door and said, I can't be in this anymore, you did the right thing. And for some of you guys, if you're going through that and you have to walk out the door, the last thing I want to see is somebody get divorced, but do not stay in that type of situation. Do you understand me? Don't. I know you think it's going to get better. You want to keep your home together. You're thinking that you're doing the right thing. But if you are in a relationship where abuse is happening, get out. John Mead. What is going on, John? I think this is the first time. Everybody welcome on John to the show. My wife was bipolar and would go off in an instant. Restraining calmed her. Hitting back would have killed the relationship between my wife and my children. They knew what was going on and watched. I had their respect because I never hit her. Wife was bipolar. I know what that's like. I've been through that. Restraining calmed her. Hitting back would have killed the relationship between my wife and my children. You had their respect, but that's a tough one, man. Everybody makes their own decisions, and they know what they can get past and what they can't. You know what? I think if there's, look, are we saying just because somebody's bipolar or they've got some personality disorders that they don't need to be in relationships, they don't need to be loved? No. But what I would say is try to normalize those conversations with those type of people. So when those situations happen, we can understand what's happening. I'm going out here. We got to de-escalate right now. You're in that manic episode or whatever. I'm going out here. I might go get a hotel for a night or something. But you guys remember, I tell you what's really crazy with that. And I'm glad that she's doing this. Katie Haas, that I had on the show, that was the alienated child, and went 20 years thinking her dad didn't want her. And it was bullshit, man. Her bio dad found her as soon as she got old enough. But she had a stepdad during that process too that ended up walking away from her because of how crazy the mom was. The whole family had to get away even from this child because that was how bad they needed to get away from this mom. She later found her stepdad after, she got older, and then they have an amazing relationship. But this guy had schizophrenia, bipolar, all kinds of stuff, dude. He's like off the charts with all of these medical conditions. But watch what happens when she interacts with him. He is a puppy dog. He's like a little puppy dog, man. Melts like butter. Loves being with, her and loves her, but he could not be around the ex who also had mental issues. But watching how she's been there for him because she understands, like, when this acts up, this is what's going on. If there's going to be challenges in the relationship, make sure that you know your spouse. You've made it comfortable for them to say, hey, like, I meant this something might be going on. If you need to walk away or whatever, don't mind me right now. I'm just in a grumpy mood. Dude, we all get there, right? We're all going to have those times where we're acting like we normally wouldn't because I'm really tired. I'm stressed. Something's going on. I've got some time constraints. And communicating with your partner. She might not like me saying this, but there's been several times I know what time of the month it is with my wife because she'll look at me and say, don't mind me right now. It's the time of the month. And like, it's the sweetest thing all through the month. But if that moment comes where she's like, or, any like little expression, and she's like, I'm sorry. It's that time of month. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I'll go outside. You let me know when you're better. And I respect that. There's going to be times where I'm going to be in my emotions, We all got these complications, guys. But when it gets to the point of physical abuse, we are overstepping the lines. We really are. Amanda, I am a shut down person if I feel angry. I never let it out when I'm angry. If I get heated, I go and sit and chill until I can come back. Dude, that is me. That is me. If it gets to that point, I've learned to walk away. Because we hope it will get better. Now, I'm not saying walk away forever, guys. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying leave and be gone for a week or whatever. But if you have to walk down the driveway or go for a little ride or something because you're in fight or flight mode, right? Breathe, come down. And then you know what? If you go back home and then that just takes back off and escalates again, go take another break. Wait until you can do this and hear each other's concerns. And I think one of the places that we really find problems in relationships is people are not listening to hear what the other side has to say. It could be miscommunication. It could be misunderstanding. Could be many things. Busy life, haven't been able to talk about things, or you're taking something the wrong way, or maybe you're wrong. There's going to be times where you're going to be wrong, and there's going to be times when you're right. Nobody is right all the time. Nobody's wrong all the time. But the person that should be a safe place with is your spouse, is the person that you love, the person that you made these kids with. And that's why when you don't love anybody anymore and you're split up and you still have to talk to them because of the kids, that this takes off like it does. It's not a safe place. Many times it's just not a safe place. And the courts do not promote it to be a safe place. They teach these people how to fuss with each other. Mexican, where are men supposed to get away to? Dude, I don't care if it's just you walking down the road. I don't care if it's you getting in your car, going to town, going to a park, walking a trail, go watch a movie, whatever it is. Get some time in between it. Make sure before you go back that there is an understanding. I want to talk. I want to get over this. But if we get emotional, we're going to do this too. And tell your partner it's okay to do that too. Like, I really want to communicate this out. Like, we're not going to dodge the conversation. But right now, let's go and let's get the emotion out of it. I know this community has to go through this. How many of you have wrote an email and you send it right away and then it taught you, I'm going to write that email. I'm going to sit on it overnight. I'm going to reread it tomorrow and make sure it's what I want before I send it. That's an example of what I'm talking about, bro. Waiting until those emotions subside, because when those emotions subside, you'll go back and read that email where you said just whatever was on your mind at that time and say, okay, I still need to make my point, or I wish I would have worded it different. And then we become a little bit different with it. Or how many of the times have you went to text your ex? You're like, oh man, I'm going to tell him now. And then you erase it all. And it's just like, okay, yes, no. You know, you get the emotions out of it. The best way to miscommunicate is through text. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. You want to know one of the best examples of that, Todd, is the Bible. How many different denominations and understandings of that one book and its text have been created? Everybody looks at it different. That verse that might mean this for somebody means something different for somebody else. I mean, hundreds, thousands of different religions off of that one book because everybody interpreted it different. It's no different than with text. You can't see the body language. You don't know if they're mad. You don't know if they're sad. You don't know if they're joking or anything. It is the easiest way to take somebody out of context. And unfortunately, because we live in a world that promotes these cell phones, that's how people prefer to text. I feel like I can say more how I feel on the text message. Yeah, because you don't have to face the consequence and you don't have to see the real life reactions. You're trying to make your point without realizing what's going on the other side. I understand why people want to do it. Is there are times, especially people that are in there with their exes, that it needs to be through email or communicate? Yeah. Because seeing them face to face or anything else, man, no one size fits all. But I 100% agree with that. I do, man. Dwayne said, need some time. What is great is the batting cage. There you go, dude. Get out some aggression. Play some video games. Call of Duty. Take it out on one of those fake guys. You know, do something to get that out. That energy, that frustration, that fight or flight. We all go through it. That is a surge, and you don't want to react on that emotion. Dude, that's what most of this domestic violence is. Somebody gets angry at somebody. I think it's okay to hit them. I'm in the middle of my emotion. I'm just going to hit you. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think of the consequence. I'm not going to think about what it does. I'm just going to do it right now. You don't be that person. I'm not going to respond out of emotion. I'm going to step back, clear the head, and do what needs to be done. There's many people that regret, myself included, reacting out of emotion. I remember when I used to go through that with my ex, dude. I'd sit there and read those messages, and man, dude, when I would respond, I was ready to go because my life had been a living hell. Now, sit there, don't listen to it, don't pay attention to it unless it's something that you've got to, right? And do it in a way that you can control. Okay. Jason Burmender said, I would often walk away to cool down, but my ex physically prevented me from leaving and would escalate to where I would act out. Never physical violence or anything like that. And then that would be used against me as though I was the problem. I usually said something I shouldn't, but when you can't get away, it gets so much worse. Dude, is that not what I just sat there and said, Jason? There's going to be times where you're going to say stuff that you don't mean. You're in the middle of your emotion, and they want, you know what? I hate to say it. When this person has a portrayal or a projection that they're needing to get out, they don't want you to get out. They want you to stay in those emotions. I need you to react right now towards those emotions. And that's how we get in a lot of the bull crap that we do, man. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. But if they're blocking them, what does he do? That's what pisses me off, man. Like, I know I'm telling you to walk away or try to handle the emotions, but I also understand the other side of that. If this situation has gotten to that point, where does he go? I don't know. That's the part that pisses me off about it. There should be a safe space. There's not. Many times there's not. If she's blocking the door, or hell, dude. You know, I was talking to the actor not long ago. He was trying to leave the house and get away from his ex. She ran after him, was trying to jump in the car, then grabbed the car. And as he was backing out, it pulled her arm. Oh, he hurt me. I was like, no, You was grabbing the car when he was backing out. What did you think was going to happen? If you had jumped in front of the car when it was going, what would have happened? You grabbed onto a moving car. He didn't deliberately hurt you. He knew that it was in the middle of conflict and he was trying to leave, but you came after him. And I'd tell you, I think a lot of this domestic violence happens in those situations where these guys are trying to get away and somebody follows them. They just do. All right, man. That is going to be it for today, guys. I got to get some work going on here. I'm going to have this conversation much more. Much more. And I hope that you will help us have it. I hope that you will share it. Become a part of that solution. Because the only way that it can change is to let the world know about it. And I do think it's happening. The Johnny Depp case, even this right here. You know what? I think it matters just as much when it's happening to you guys as it does Dana White or Johnny Depp. Unfortunately, the media only wants to cover it when it becomes one of those situations, right? So if we got to talk about those situations and then get in here and bring up yours, that's what we will do. I wish these situations didn't happen at all. I wish abuse didn't happen at all. But abuse is wrong on both sides. It's just, like I said, it's not a one-sided conversation. It's not going to be. Tomorrow, guys, make sure that you are going. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Actually, I'll let you guys watch some of it. This will tick you off. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me share screen, share tab audio. This is the video I'm talking about. This is where he went to return his son. Let me pull that off the screen right here so you guys can see a full screen of it. Let me take this one down too. All right, and I'm going to pull myself down. You guys watch this video. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be a little triggering. This is Caleb when he went to go take his son back to the mom. All right, here we go.
Okay, it's 2:01. We're here at Harper's mom's house. Did you forget your sunglasses?
Parker, honey, now's not the time. You need to come in and we can talk about this, okay? The kids told me that you want to live with him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll talk about it inside.
I don't. I don't want to get out.
Do what now?
I don't want to get out.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to get out.
I'm sorry. You're a child and you don't get to make all the decisions. But you need to get out now and it's time to come home. Okay? Come
What's
on.
the camera for?
Oh, don't worry about it. You need to come on.
I don't want to get out, Mom.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to get out.
I understand. But it's no longer visitation with your father and it's time to come home. Okay? All right. We can talk about this. I'll listen to what you have to say, but there's no way that you can just roll up and everything's fine and you can just roll up and say, oh, I'm not going to get out of the truck. And this mama is not going to say, oh, okay, bye kid that I've raised for 14 years. See you later. I'm just not that way. I love you. And you obviously have done a lot of talking this weekend. That's fine. Maybe there's some stuff that I need to know. But I'm not letting you just drive off. That's not going to happen. I love you too much. And we're too close. And this is not the right way to do it. This is a kind of a underhanded, in my opinion, disrespectful kind of a way to do it. To just, oh, by the way, hey, I'm out of here.
Well,
And that's not your fault.
how do
I'm
you-
almost certain that you were told that this was going to be an okay way to do it. And it's just not. This is just not very appropriate. So you need to get out of the car.
But how do you want to do it?
Huh?
How do you want to do it?
Well, maybe you and I should come in and talk about what's going on with you that's causing you to feel this way. Maybe we need to talk to the youth pastors like what we were talking about last week. Maybe if there's something going on, I can help. All right? You need to get out of the car. All right?
I don't,
Come on.
I don't want to get out.
Get up. Hey. You need to get out of the car and come home.
I don't want to get out of the car.
Huh?
I don't want to get out of the car.
Okay. Sweetheart, I hate to say this, but you're being real ugly right now. This is being super duper disrespectful, and you need to come home now. And if I have to call a police officer to come help me, I would hate to have to do that, but I sure enough will.
Call him.
Huh?
Call him.
Okay. Caleb's going to get into some trouble because he knows that he has to return you at 2. And I don't think that you're being a very good role model right now at all, sitting there flossing your teeth while this is a major thing that you're encouraging him to do. You don't have
I can't force him to get out of my car.
Yeah, you can. You're his father.
I-
He is a minor. You can say, have to get out. We have to do this in the appropriate manner. You can model responsibility. You can choose to do that.
I'm not going to force him to get out.
That's fine. Let's go, Parker. Parker,
Yes, ma'am.
let's go. It's time to go in and talk. This is not the way to go about this.
What is the way?
I already told you to come in and tell me what your concerns are, to come in and talk to me.
I think that my concerns are here.
If you want to be, no, because it's time to go in. I told you guys last week that we had things to do Sunday.
What do we have to do?
Well, for one thing, we're going to Nani's for like a barbecue. Another thing, we're going swimming. We had like family fun plans.
I don't want to go swimming.
Uh-oh, sister. Smile for the camera. Do you have your phone on you? Do you have the non-emergency number for the police? Where's that Bubba? See that Bubba? Hi. Hey. Hey. Daddy's gonna call the cops. You need to get out. You need to do the right thing. Do you feel, you know how we talk about you feel in your heart if this is the right thing to do or not? Do you think that this is the appropriate way to do this?
Yes.
You do? Really? You wouldn't do this to him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just at the time that he was supposed to pick you up say, I don't want to go. You've asked to not go before. And I have
never not asked you.
Yeah, you have, sweetheart. You've been doing this for a lot of years. Maybe you've forgotten some stuff. But that is just not allowed. You can't just not show up. We have never done that
I didn't
because
show
that's
up.
not the right thing to do.
Well, what is the right thing to do then?
You tell me. I can't see you through this dust. Could you please roll this down a little bit? The window? You tell me. What do you think the right thing to do is?
Where did I go?
I don't know.
You think the right thing to do is to just tell your siblings goodbye? Do you
What
think
mean
that
talk about it?
you're not going to live with them anymore?
I'll still be able to see them, but
When?
every
On
time they
visit?
come over,
But you won't see Mallory because Mallory doesn't go on Caleb visits.
I can FaceTime them or whatever.
You can. Do you think FaceTiming is the same? Do you think
No.
that the same relationship you would have with Caleb if all you did was FaceTime him? No, that's not the way. That's not the way life works. Is not on the computer. I know you love Caleb, and it's real easy to be real angry with me and Jason right now because you're 14, and sometimes it's real easy to be angry with everything whenever you're 14. But real life is going to happen no matter where you go. You're going to have to get your laundry done. No matter where you go, you're going to have to do your homework.
I know.
It's no, you don't get a real life depiction of that over at Caleb's, honey, because you don't have to do anything over
But
there.
we don't fight.
Well, honey, maybe it's because you don't have real life over there.
Okay, well then give it 2 weeks.
No, I'm not going to. You are
Why?
my child, and I will not give you over to somebody that there are adult issues that are not anything that you need to be concerned with right now. But if I thought for a second that that was an appropriate place for you to live, if I thought for a second that it was an appropriate place at this point just for you to go on a visit, I don't think that an industrial engine business is a good place for a child.
Is military school a better place for him to go?
He's not going to military school.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Nobody ever said he was going to military school.
Yeah, I said that y'all were gonna go look at some.
No, we never did.
Yes, you did. You said it.
The other day, you and I were laughing, and I said, "Oh my gosh, boy, you're driving me crazy. I know why people go to military school."
After we got done.
No, it was a joke, Parker.
Well, it wasn't very
Just like whenever you joke, come up to hit me, I would never send you off. You are my child. You are my firstborn. You're my heart walking around outside my body. Are they on their way? I would never ship you off. I sent you to summer camp one time, and that was hard. He's not, we have not standard orders. He needs to, it doesn't matter. We need a patrol car. We need help.
Well, he is free to go.
He's not. He's a minor,
No,
and-
he's free to go exit the car whenever he wants to.
and he's going to.
He's not being restrained by me. I'm just filming. That's all
I
I'm
know.
doing.
That's all you're doing is filming. I know your game. That's all you're doing. Are you high right now, Caleb, or are you drunk? Which one is it? Will you take
Neither one.
Will you take a drug test for me? Will you
I'm
reinstate
not
drug
taking a
testing?
drug test for
Well, why
anybody.
not? If you're not under the influence of anything, your big thing now is weed is legal, and it's God's plan.
How do you know?
Because you're on Facebook screaming about how I need to, all these horrible things. We have
How
mutual,
you need to what?
we have all these mutual
I
friends
never
that-
mentioned you. Believe it or not, I don't.
Yeah, well, okay.
Believe it or not, I
Well,
don't.
I've been to the second grade, and I can use my context clues, but I will tell you right now that I don't think that you're an appropriate influence at all.
Okay.
And before this, I was going to talk to you about Summer, because there's some things that we need to work on as far as co-parenting. But clearly, excuse me, I'm a movie star. Clearly, what? There needs to be somebody already on the way. Are they already on the way? I think this is a major decision. I know he can't get you because he's in Caleb's car. I think this is a major decision, and I think that I understand being confused. And I understand not liking your parents when you're 14. Caleb does too. We both understand that. But family is family, and we're set up the way we're set up for a reason.
For
And
what reason?
I'm not. Well, I don't want her to get sunburned. Are they on their way? Or?
Yeah, they're on their way. This is completely the wrong way to do this.
This really is. This is not okay. I'm asking you to come into the house and talk to me about what is going on with you. If you honestly thought that you were going to military school, really, I honestly don't think whenever you're playing the punch game with me, I honestly don't think you're going to hit me. Maybe I've teased too hard with you. Maybe we're our fun, joking family. You're internalizing some of that. I'm willing to work with you on that. But I am not letting you drive off in a car with a man that I don't see as the very best influence on you. And I know that you love him. And I have always said, it's okay to love Caleb.
Yes.
But he does some things that are not some of the things that we want to model.
What does he do?
He just does some things that I don't particularly agree with, just like I'm sure I do some things that he doesn't particularly agree with.
But what does he do?
That's some of the things. Baby, you are 14. I know that you're big, but you are still a child. But some of the things that you just can't, some things you just don't need to be involved in. Not now, maybe not ever. I'm not going to reach into the car and snatch you bald headed or anything like that, because I firmly believe that Caleb would shoot me.
I'm unarmed.
I firmly believe that he would shoot me. But as your mama, right now, I'm telling you, you need to get your little bottom out of this car and you need to come in. Well, first, I just want to hug you because I can see that you're hurting. I don't even know what's going on with you. But you're fine when you leave, and when you come back from Caleb's, you've got turmoil every single time. Something is going on over there. There's conversations that are going on over there that are feeding this negativity. And it's not okay. You're a happy kid. You need to get out of the car and you need to come in. I'm going to go get my orders. Get the orders out of I'm going to get the orders. The cops are going to enforce them. Huh?
Okay.
How many times have I told you I will never give up on you? How many times have I told you that you are worth everything? Did you really think that I was going to say, okay, let me go get your toothbrush? Hey, I love you,
Me too.
and I don't know what's going on. But I want a chance to work on it with you.
You've had a chance, Mom.
Oh, I have? If it's bad enough that you don't want to come home, it's pretty bad. I mean, people run away for like humongous things.
Yeah,
What do you think this is normal, babe?
no.
Look at that. Look at that, the filming, and do you think that this is a I'm sorry, you're a child, but I have to say, do you think that's being a good parent, baby? Do you think that's somebody that needs to be in complete control of your of decisions regarding you?
I don't think anyone needs to be in complete control. That's why there's two.
That's a good point. When people walk away from their ability to make decisions about their children, though, there's something that we can't make people be involved. We can't make people do the right thing.
What are you referring to?
Well, there's a lot of things that Caleb has checked out on by his own choosing.
As in what?
You name it, baby. And that's okay. He does his thing, we do ours, we raise you guys, and y'all go and have fun Disneyland times with him. That's how it's been. But somebody's got to tell you to eat your Brussels sprouts, put your rubber bands on, and wash your blues and grays on Friday night.
I do that anyways.
No, baby.
Yeah.
No. Are you going to wait for the cops to come for you to get out of the car? Okay.
How many are coming?
I don't know.
Do you know how many cops are coming?
They usually send 2 or 3 cars. This is making him real happy. This is his favorite thing to do, to stir up trouble. And you know what? That's not really what we're about as a family. We're not a troublemaking family.
I know it wasn't his choice, it was mine.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think sometimes kids can and be encouraged to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. You're the most calm, quiet kid I've ever met. You and Hayden.
So there's no reason to send him to anger management classes then?
This is not between you and I. You have checked out completely. You're flossing your teeth, and this is not. No. We may need to go to some anger management counseling because you said you get so mad.
Yes.
That wasn't a bad thing. That was a how can we help you process your emotions thing. It's hard to learn how to handle emotions. Lots of grown-ups can't do it. Impulse control. Like right now. Oh, I want to do this right now. Impulse control is a real hard thing for lots of grown-ups to learn. This should not have been handled in this fashion. But somebody decided, hey, let's do it. I don't know if it was you. I don't know if it was Caleb, but it was on an impulse. It was on let's pull this trigger now. And this is not well thought out. This is not a mama, I need to talk to you. Take me to Starbucks. Everybody loves you in that house. Your dad and I love you. I have no doubt in my mind that Caleb loves you to the best of his ability. But it is very different to father a child and to parent a child. Those are two separate things. Can you tell me what time it is?
123.
2:23.
223.
Every minute that you stay in this car that he doesn't make you get out is like not good.
He's free to get out anytime he wants to.
Yeah, well,
He knows it.
being free to get out and being a parent and saying, no, son, you need to get out. It's time to go home. We'll handle this. I'll contact your mother. We'll talk about this. We need to have a family meeting, as opposed to just, oh, by the way, he doesn't want to get out. You know this is wrong. You weren't raised to be like this. You weren't raised trash like this, Caleb Leverett. Your mother would be ashamed.
He has expressed to me he wants to live with me.
That's
and
fine.
Therefore,
He
I'm
has expressed-
going to help my son.
He has expressed to me that he loves you many, many times.
I'm just
But
telling
he
you
has
what I was
also
told.
expressed to me that you have encouraged him to do this. And I don't for a second think that this is all my son's doing. And I hate
Well, Parker, what?
that he is in the middle of it.
Well, I hate it that he's in the middle of it too.
It's horrible.
I don't get a thrill in doing this either. I'm just trying to
You're
help
getting
my
something
son.
out of it.
I'm trying to help my son. I don't know what else.
You're
to do.
not either. You're not even focused. You're picking lint off of your thing. You're just holding that up just so you can have proof for court or whatever you think is going to happen.
Let me ask you guys a question. Are you pissed off yet? Did you get triggered on that? Almost like watching the Johnny Depp trial all over again, isn't it? I just got through talking to Caleb. That was kind of like an impulsive thing right there at the end. I was like, hey, you guys need to know who we're going to be talking to tomorrow. You really do. This guy's been through it. Now, I don't know if you checked out his YouTube channel or whatever, but that's like an hour or so long video. And what I would like to do, I texted him and I was like, do you mind if I play this video? Because I'm not trying to play somebody else's content, but this is a video that needs to be out there. And I think it's why it did so well. The love bombing, the trying to get into the head. But then your daddy's not who he says he is. I'm sure Caleb had his mistakes. Absolutely. I've seen Caleb talking about his mistakes, but was it what she was making it out to be? There was all these different things. I just need you to get out of that car, even from getting the window down. But I tell you what we're going to do, guys, because people are asking where they can see the full video. I'm going to end this. That was why I came back on. I said, we just need to play this whole thing because it isn't just that. I want you guys to have a full scope of what me and him are going to be talking about in the morning. And he's had to do a lot to get himself on track to where he is now. The guy's down here in Georgia, so he's gonna be in studio tomorrow, and he's talking about hiking all the way to Maine, which is crazy. But he's taking a lot of proactive measures and stuff for himself. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this, and I'm gonna come back on. Maybe give me anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, and we're gonna play the full video. You guys want to rejoin me for that? I'll pull up your comments and stuff while it's playing, but I want you to see it. There was another one that I was seeing of like the kid at the courthouse. They were saying he had to go with mom. He just sat down in the middle of the parking lot like, no. So I think this one is going to be, like I said, very triggering. Just be watching out for that. I'm going to come back here in just a few minutes and we'll play that full video for you guys. All right. And let's make sure everybody shows up and gives him some support in the morning. I can only imagine what it was like trying to deal with that. It's crazy, man. See you guys here in a second. Hey, everybody. Eric Carroll here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Dad Talk Today. While we fight for you, we would ask for you to please help fight for us. Like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notifications every time we go live. There's also Super Chats, patreon.com/dadtalktoday, and other ways you can support our channel. Thank you for being here.